Hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Today we will cover maintenance budgets and statistics within Dynaway EAM for Business Central. This is one of our webinars in the series of 20-minute webinars that will be recorded and put on the website for educational use in case you need some more information about specific topics. We have, like we used to, a short introduction, and with me today I have Christoph. He will take you through the presentation. Christoph is our team lead for our Dynaway EAM product for BC. And like mentioned today, he will reveal the content of budgets and statistics within Dynaway. Christoph, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mikkel. So you should see Business Central.
Yes.
Okay, good. I will little turn around the topic. So first, I would like to show you the statistic, and then I will go to our maintenance budget. But probably you already know, but when we posting any work order in Dynaway EAM, we track three kind of things. One is the cost of items. The second is the cost of resources, internal resources, but also we track the cost of expenses. So all of that, we would like to know what were the costs of our maintenance through the time, but also for our assets. So if we will go to the asset tree or to the asset list, you can see that I have in the history two buttons. One is an asset statistic and one is the asset statistic with children. If I will open asset statistic, you will see that I have the statistic for costs, but also some numbers, and also if you're using our module for request, you also will see it here. So let's go first to our maintenance costs. You can see that I have three sections here. One is the corrective costs, the second one is the preventive cost, and the last one is total cost. The preventive and corrective one depends on the frequency which you are using on our work order plan. So if it's marked as a corrective, then the cost will be marked also as a corrective one, and if it's not, then it will go to the preventive costs. Each of this section also contains four lines. One is for items, and the second one is for the resources, expenses, and total cost for corrective or preventive cost, the same for total. What you can see here are the four period columns. One is this period, I will explain it in a second, this year, last year, and total. And how we know what is this period and what is this year? This is based on the account periods which you have set up in Business Central. One note: when you are installing the demo version of Business Central, the account period doesn't exist, so you need to create yourself the accounting periods. It's very easy, but if you will not do it, then you will see the same number in all the columns. So in my case, this period is March, and as you can see, I have some cost in March, which is also this year, but I don't have any cost in my last year. You can see the difference. For example, here I have in March different costs than this year, because here I also have costs from February. So when we would like to see why we have those costs, we always can click the figure, and we will just be moved to work order ledger entries, which has been posted. So in this case, you can see that this is because I posted inventory for those three items, 1, 2, and 3, and with the quantity. Also, as you may remember, you can export the report of consumption on work order and see exact cost for the specific lines. So that's one view which you can see with the cost. And the second is more about the numbers. So we can see how many posted work orders, so how many maintenance work orders we had in the period, right? So I can see that I had one for the corrective and one for the preventive this month, but in this year I had two for the preventive. I also can see from resources how much time we posted for this and spent on the maintenance for this asset. So I can see that I have 8 hours corrective one and 3 hours on in total 5 hours of preventive maintenance which I used. You also can see, if you are using these features, information about the downtimes and also failure which were registered during this period. So if you can see that I have for this asset some downtimes, in total in this month this asset was not operating 5 hours, and in the whole period it didn't operate for 7 hours, which all were this year, but in last year we didn't have anything. So that's one statistic, but very often we are doing the maintenance on a component level, but would like to see all the statistics for the whole our asset or for all our group of assets. It depends how we build the tree. So if I will go to my main asset, in this case it's a container for UV lamps, you will see that I don't have any cost of the maintenance for this asset. I haven't posted any maintenance for this particular asset number 18, but you can see that this asset has 5 children, 19, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So if I will click asset and children statistic, then I will see some values, and that will be combination of all my costs for the children. And here is a small note. We tracked the cost for the parent in the moment when the costs were posted. So if you will detach the asset from the parent, we still will see that costs, because at the moment when costs were created, those still was for this particular asset. But the structure of the view is exactly the same. Okay, but what about if we would like to see the statistic for more costs for more than one asset? For that, we have a report. It's called maintenance statistic. And basically, you can see all the same data which was in the statistic field, but little modified view. So first of all, I can choose what I would like to see. So if I would like to see an asset, categories, location, and work order categories. So as you can see, little more options. I can also see if I check if I would like to see the view by day, week, or month. Let's, for example, choose by month. And then I can also choose if I would like to see the cost of the maintenance. If I have that, I can choose if I would like to see preventive or corrective maintenance. Also, I can see if I would like to see resources, items, or expenses, or I would like to get a total. So let's assume that I would like to see that. You can see that my columns are automatically set to July 2019 to February 2022 is 30 last columns, but I always can change. So if I would like to see the March cost, I need to just change the column set. Let me just show you the matrix. So you can see that I have some cost for my assets, and this is my list of all my assets. So you can see that I have 282 cost of my UV lamp number 19. And in this case, I also can open why I have those costs by clicking the number. But this is the list of all assets. As I said, we can do little more. So for example, I would like to see all the lines by asset category instead of particular asset. So now, if I will click show matrix with the same parameters as I have, instead of exact asset number, I will see the my asset categories. So you can see that I spent in March $1,296. The same if I would like to see the location or work order category, so I will leave you here and you can always play with that. But how we know if those values are too high or too low comparing to what we expect to have? So for that we have a maintenance budgets. And if I will go to the maintenance budgets, you can see that I can create as many budgets as I want. I already have created 3 ones. And I can decide which dimension I would like to see in my budget. So I can create a budget for each separate asset, category, location, work order category, and maintenance type, so if corrective or or preventive. And I also can put my 4 dimensions, so business central financial dimension, as our budget dimensions as well. At least one of it is mandatory, so when we're creating the budget, we just would need to have at least one field mark. So if I will now edit the budget, you will see that I can see the budget per, for example, asset category, as I have here, or I can change, and instead of asset category, I would like to see asset location. So you can see that for March, I already put 100 cost, and this is my cost for the resources. I can change it to total cost and see cost for the resources and items. If I will click those 3 dots, I will be moved to the detailed budget ledger entries, and as you can see, I have 150 for items. If I would like to add the budget, so let's move, for example, to resource. And for example, for April, I just need to type the value. So system, if we have more than one dimension, will prompt us with a new window to specify for which category in this case I have. So let's do it for UV lamps. And resource cost is 300, but item cost is another 200. I also can put some expense cost. So this is how you can create a budget. You can also filter the budget, but we don't expect that you will go through all the lines and click manually all the values here. What you can do and how you can create a budget is also that you can export it to Excel and import it back after changing it. So if I will just click export to Excel, and I will specify the filters which I have, and budget name, which is automatically added, I can easily export it to Excel and open it in Excel, modify it. So for example, I can, instead of 300 here, I can put 400 for this. I can also, of course, add a new lines and so on. So let me just correct this one and save it. Simple as that. So if we want to import budget again, you can do it for the same budget. And when I will just click import, I have an option to replace the entries or add a new entries. So if you will export the entries, replace the entries, then the whole budget will be recalculated. If you will add the entries, it will add you the additional values. So I will just click replace the entries. I need to choose the Excel. So let me just choose this one, which I just created, and I will just click OK. So now you can see that my values are little different that I had in the past. That's one option, how to create a budget. There is another one. We can copy the budget from another budget or from the date from the other date. So let's imagine that I would like to do the budget for 2023 version 2, as you can see, budget 2023 version 2. I would like to do it by asset category, asset location, and also the work order category. So if I will click edit budget, I can at this moment also do the copy of the budget. So if I will click copy budget, I can either choose that I would like to take the source from another budget, or I would like to take it from the history. So if you're already working quite a time in Dynaway EAM, you can take a budget. You can take from your history data. I can filter the dates, and what I can do, I can also put the factor. So let's imagine that our budget should be 20% more comparing to this what we have in this year. So I can do it, and I also need to specify that I would like to switch, take all the data and add plus 1 year to it to create a budget for the next year. So if I will go OK, it will copy the budget, and if I will change just the year, don't know if I put the correct values, but let me just check it. Just open this one. You can see that I have a values. I just did it exactly the same. So that's how you can copy the budget. How we know what are the values comparing to the to our budget? This we can do when we go to the option budget realization, and if I will click this one, I just need to change the view per month, for example. You can see that this is my realization. So this is my actual values which I posted, and this is my values which I have for the item and for my total cost. And you can see what I expected to be, and that you can see that I really overbooked the cost comparing to my budget, right? So I exceeded my budget. If it will be green, then it means that everything is fine with my budget. But that's one way how you can see the budgets, right? And but what if we would like to have much more statistic and charts and so on? So remember that all the data which we putting in the budgets, you also can see in Power BI, because we have a special API which is exporting the data directly to Power BI. So you can see that my budgets which I created, for example 2023 version 1, I just prepare very small presentation what you can get. So for example, resource cost per asset category, you can see how it look like, or items and resources by asset location. So what are the budgets for our different location, or for example, what we budget for work order category. So I have 3 categories, and I see that part replacement is much more than inspection, and daily cleaning is much more even. And for example, here I can see the breakdown of my costs, so I can see what are the budgets for items, and I have much more than, maybe not much, but some more than resources, and I will have no expenses. So this is what you can do with our budgets and also with our statistics. So back to you, Mikael.
Thank you, Christoph. Great presentation, and I really like the concept, especially that you can follow up afterwards and see the trends there. So this was the last on the list, actually, or for now. So we will take a short break on these 20-minute sessions. We see that they are well received, well visited on our website. So obviously there will be more to follow. But for now, we'll focus on the upcoming release, which is due on the 11th of April, and just a small advertising on that, because on the 21st of April, we'll have a webinar covering exactly the upcoming version. And there we have a lot to show. Basically, you can see some of it here, but there is much more coming out in the next version, and some of that may also be shown in the 20-minute sessions that we'll plan afterwards. And most important to say is that all of these, or most of these, new features are driven by the market, so by our customers. What are they requesting? So it's also back to you. If there's something you want to see in the next sprint, in the next planning for the 20-minute webinars, then please get back to us and we'll happily fill that into the plan. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for paying attention, staying on the webinars, and I wish you all a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.